We had a good work day today. The guys came out with a great spirit. We're kind of carrying off of what we did Sunday. I mean, I really like the intent of our work. First day, Tuesday, you're looking at some things game plan wise. Still, some things we're gonna have to clean up throughout the course of the week. But I thought the purpose, the effort, the physicality, that all showed up. And so we got to continue to build upon the positives that we've shown, but also eliminate the mistakes. The disciplinary things, just keeping the penalties down, making sure we're playing with our eyes, hands and feet, and then obviously the overall execution and communication of what we need to be able to do throughout the course of the game. We know it's a great challenge in front of us. The guys are excited about the opportunity it's had.
Mike, there was an example Saturday's game with Pierre was getting into a teammate, maybe didn't do something right, kind of yelling at him, getting after him a little bit. Is that occurring more where players are being more vocal, holding others accountable?
There's a lot of different situations that show up, and I know I've mentioned it throughout this, this early part of the season. But we guys that really care, and the investment that's put into it. Nobody wants to go out and make a mistake, but whether it's a focus issue, a communication, those are those times where teammates, coaches, you'll see an animated response, and that's something that we have to have. There's just too much work that goes into it to have certain mistakes that show up. I mean, there's times that you might use fundamentals. You might find yourself in a good position, and just get beat on a play, and that's going to happen. Playing against really competitive and talented players, but when there's a lack of focus or a lack of communication, things that we work and know, those are things that are going to probably draw more of an animated response from teammates, and I'm glad the guys care. It's you get one opportunity to play this game. This one season with this team, and so we've got some really good leaders and guys that are making a heck of an investment.
A lot of things go into the passing game. What do you need to see more from the receivers to help the downfield passing?
Yeah, I thought there were times, in the game we really got some good separation. Just that we tried to push the ball vertically down the field and had our shots, but coupled with other issues that showed up on those plays, what we weren't able to capitalize on them. We knew some of the challenges that were going to present itself there last week with what we were seeing, defensively, and it was a plan to get the ball out quick. And we tried to pick and choose the opportunities that we were going to take the shots down the field, and just unfortunately we weren't able to capitalize on them for one reason or the other. But I think our receivers are getting better. We had a couple drops that even on some of the intermediate things that you got to get eliminated. But I think the confidence in who they are and what they're about, that is definitely growing. I'm seeing some good marks of that in practice, and we're going to need him to show up big here on Saturday. Yeah, Darian is he's and you got to remember, those guys are either freshmen or redshirt freshmen for the most part. You see a guy like Keyshawn. I thought Keyshawn had a really good game. That's a guy that's an experienced player. Coming off an earlier disappointing performance, but his response is something that you would expect from a guy that's been through it. These young guys. Malik had an opportunity that we missed there on a third down there on Saturday. But watching the way that he comes back to work in the meeting rooms. These guys, they're making the investment, and we got to perform and show up on game day. But they understand what it takes.
Kenny talked about probably going to see a lot of press man from North Carolina. What kind of challenge will that be for those guys?
We've seen a good amount of press man throughout the year, and it's about taking those fundamentals. Taking the there's things that if as coaches, if we could try to help with that, we will. But at the end of the day, as a receiver, that's what you want. You get your one-on-one, and you get an opportunity to go, and it gives big play opportunities. And North Carolina has some talented guys out on the perimeter, but for us, I believe we have talented guys out there as well. And so we got to take advantage of those moments when they show up.
You, the coaches have mentioned throughout the season that Dennis is one of the most improved players on the team. What exactly does he bring to the table that you guys will no longer have, and how difficult you guys that's to replace?
Well, I thought Dennis was extremely productive. This year early on. Sometimes that wasn't always in the stat sheet. It was just whether it was a twist game or him being where he needed to be, being a disruptive force, forcing the quarterback off his mark. I think the growth that we've seen from him. He was a guy that played defensive end when he got here, and he's gained good weight. Just able to transition him inside, I think, is a very natural position for him. Really uses his hands well. Is a tough guy to handle, and losing that experience and losing that that ability, it puts more on other players. And you've seen guys like Jarrett Jackson that stepped up. We need him to continue to emerge. Malcolm Ray, even though he was unavailable last week, played his most snaps the week prior. And then Josh Farmer played. I think he was 12 snaps in the game this last week, and he's as a true freshman. I mean, that's sometimes a challenging position to be just thrown into, but he really is embracing the opportunity that he has as well. And those guys are going to have to continue to emerge as players for us, but then it also puts a bigger load on Fabian and Cooper there inside just for the work that's necessary.
Is it trending in a positive direction as far as getting some defensive backs back who were unavailable or limited recently?
Yeah, we had some guys that came back today. That was good to see them moving around and getting into full swing. I mean, we've been in a position just due to pure numbers where guys that have practiced very little have had to go in there and times and play a good number of snaps, which is never a good combination. It happens sometimes, but we're playing true freshmen. We're playing young guys, but at the end of the day, it's those are some of those learning experiences that you don't want to have to necessarily go through. But getting some of those guys back on the practice field, you'll be able to work through and continue to focus on those fundamentals and the communication that we will see here Saturday. That's going to do nothing but benefit us there in the back end.
Something you get real excited about a couple of turnovers in the defense period. Virginia had one that came back after they beat Jermaine. It's kind of a hustle.
And those we have to have those. I mean, that's something that we've had our opportunities. I guess it was the Louisville game. There were 3 times that we had our hands on it where the ball was on the ground, where we didn't come up with those plays. There's been a couple of those showed up. I thought we had one the other day that was another opportunity. 1 or 2 that we should have had. We can't be talking about should have. We need to be able to create those takeaways. Obviously, we got to make sure that we're doing all the things to eliminate things that we're trying to take away. But when you get a chance to flip the field, you get a chance to steal a possession, we got to make that happen. And seeing that today, I thought our guys did a nice job in a couple of moments. And when they do it right, you got to show that same type of excitement as whenever you need some of the correctable moments as well.
2 games in a row now that Jamie's led the defensive tackles. He kind of seems like a guy who's not talked about a ton outside of the program. What has he brought just from a production standpoint and a leadership standpoint?
I mean, in the production, the production and the versatility. I mean, he's played multiple spots. He's played nickel. He's played safety. Just a very talented young man that's a competitive player. And he missed. What I love about him is for the tackles that he had. The one that stuck out to him was there's a play out in the flat where he rallied to it and didn't take probably the best angle that he would want to take in that situation and had a missed tackle. And coming back today, Jermaine had a very similar play there on the quarterback on the long run, and I just watched those guys today. How did they respond to that? And they just continue to push, and that's what allows them to be productive. But it also shows the great leadership of who they are and what they're all about. Right on. It's easy.
Thank you, Mike.
Everybody done?